guys? It's your boy Josh Showtime, and this is Showtime's fight for my man's 100 grand, Josh Baez. How you feeling, brother? It's the end of the year.
Feeling great. Thanks for asking. It is the end of the year. It's been a great year, and just happy to make it this far. See how well we've progressed this year, and excited for next year.
I will have to say first, man, I appreciate you for hopping on, man. It hasn't even been, I don't even know if it's been 6 months or if it has been 6 months. It's probably been 6 months to like a T of you hopping on. And honestly, it's been amazing ever since. Like, no joke. We've been, like, my channel has been consistently getting up there since I've added you. So you've been honestly a foundational piece. I've been appreciating it. It's really good to have somebody that go back and forth with over some boxing, some good boxing takes. And not to mention, the past 2 years of boxing has been probably the best 2 years of boxing in the last like 20 years. Like there's been so many epic moments, epic fights. The fights that we want to actually see hasn't been dragged out. They've literally been happening right when we want them. I mean, this is the if you're a boxing fan, this has been literally paradise for you the past couple years, and you just hope that it continues. And it's just like I said, it's just been amazing. So having you on here to talk boxing, to talk about how it's been elevating. Everybody been saying boxing was dead, and they said nope, nope, it's okay. And now it seems to even be better now because Saudi's been getting in and been making all the dream fights happen. So shout out to you, shout out to boxing as well. But man, we gotta talk since it's the end of the year. We gotta talk about the big fight of the year, and realistically, you could very well say, and in my opinion, it's true, which is this was the most important fight of the year, which was the rematch of Usyk versus Tyson Fury. A guy who both guys came in this year undefeated. Both guys had belts, and both were top 10 pound for pound fighters. We know what happened in the first fight. It was a very, very split fight that people had Tyson winning, some people had Usyk winning, and now we had to see it again. We need to see round 13. We had to see it. We saw it, and man, we know who won. Usyk won the fight, and pretty much it's been unanimous by anybody who really watched the fight agrees that Usyk won the fight. So first, tell me your opinion of the fight, and obviously, do you agree with the judges?
Yep. So first and foremost, yes, I do agree with the judges. What my opinion is on the fight is, wow, this is boxing at its best. I have to admit. I mean, when you think of not a slugfest, but not a complete chess match, like just a genuinely great boxing match, that's what we got between Usyk and Tyson Fury too. I thought that when I rolled the tape on what a good boxing match looks like, that doesn't end in a KO and doesn't put you to sleep, this is what that looks like.
No
And
knockdowns
no
at all.
knockdown, just clean. Like, you are an Olympic gold medalist in Usyk, and you are Tyson Fury, right? Like, pound for pound, one of the best heavyweights of your era. This was a boxing skills match, and that was great to see. Me personally, I thought that Usyk had won the fight 7-5, and I thought that was a fair scorecard going into the championship rounds, the 11th and 12th. I had it even. I thought that this was a good back and forth match. I thought that Tyson Fury was pressing the gas and not looking sluggish. I didn't think he was really slowing
Really?
down as much as he did the last fight. Right?
Okay.
I saw a better Tyson Fury this fight, and
I can
what
see that.
I had it 5-5 going into the last two rounds, and I tweeted this. I felt like someone needed to separate themselves. And I thought in the 11th and 12th round, Usyk by far separated himself to leading him to that unanimous victory that all three judges gave him. So, as great as Tyson Fury is, it looks like the Gypsy King just has a kryptonite. His name is Usyk. I think that whether you thought Tyson won the first fight or not, it was fair to say he lost the last fight. And for him to lose this fight here, I think just says, look, every great champion may just have a fighter that they just can't beat. And Usyk was that to Fury. And I'm sure Fury is that to Wilder. And Wilder is that to somebody else, right? So,
But who is that for
great
Usyk?
classic fight. Who's that for Usyk? Nobody, because he's undefeated. So
That's my point.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I mean. Maybe we'll have one, right? Maybe there will be somebody that Usyk challenges moving forward, and that is his kryptonite. We don't know, but right now, what we do know is Usyk took it to Tyson Fury when he needed to 2 times. Still has his O, and has established himself as one of the greatest heavyweights, cruiserweights of our generation, pound for pound right now, number 1 or 2. And I can't argue whether you have him 1 or 2. So,
I mean, we already know what stamped is he is the cruiserweight of our generation, and he's now the heavyweight of our generation. It's not really disputable. Yes, his resume is not really good per se because he only has what 7 fights. So I'm at heavyweight. So it's always gonna pale in comparison when you try. We'll talk about this later. When you try to rank them amongst like the Muhammad Ali's and the Joe Frazier's and guys like that who literally are like career heavyweights. But yet and still, when you look at the quality of the guys that he fought at heavyweight and him dispatching these guys, I mean, it's extremely impressive. Everything Usyk has been doing has been crazy. I thought, and I was still confident in it. I said Tyson Fury is going to come in. He is such a smart fighter. He's going to adjust and he's going to make the necessary changes. He's going to win this fight because he is a very smart fighter. He did those things. He made changes. I was very skeptical about the 280, and I do personally, I still think that the 280 did come back to bite him because I just felt he was a little too slow in the mid to late rounds and it kind of cost him his legs. He wasn't using his legs as much in the mid to late rounds because one, Usyk is just faster. There's nothing he could do about that. But putting on 20 pounds and being 280 is definitely going to slow you down a lot more. And I also think his cardio. You said his cardio to me. And I mean, maybe this is just how Tyson Fury is with all his fights, but I thought he was slowing down. I thought after like the fourth round, he started to slow down, and it seemed like he was really starting trying to gather himself. And he lost so many of the mid rounds. For me, I had it 8-4 Usyk. I thought Usyk. I ain't gonna say he dominated the fight because there are so many close rounds in this fight. I just went with activity, accuracy, and to be honest, man, even with the power shots, I thought Usyk was landing the heavier blows and the more effective towards the other fighter. I felt like Tyson was getting more bothered by Usyk's power than Usyk was bothered by Tyson's power. And yeah, it was a very good chess match that also wasn't really a chess match because Usyk was right in his face and he was like, "Brother, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not worried about you." And Tyson was popping that jab so much. And Tyson was trying to go to the body. It was just these things were not open. Usyk also made these adjustments, and he proved that he was better. And here's my biggest thing and my biggest takeaway, and it has really nothing to do with either fighter, which is I'm so happy. Granted, I'm a Tyson fan when it comes to actual like the boxing. I'm more of a fan of Tyson's skill set. It's just really entertaining to me personally, and it's fun for me to watch Tyson Fury fight. And also, he's just a madman. But it is so amazing to watch Usyk win, mainly for one reason. This goes to show that people who discredit the golden era of boxing, the 70s, and want to discredit Muhammad Ali, that want to discredit the Joe Frazier's and all these guys saying that they were too small to survive in this era of boxing. This has been said that these guys are too small. That how you gonna handle a Tyson Fury? He's 6'8", he's 250, 260. Joe Louis, he's not that good. He was over here. Joe Louis was 6 foot, 215 pounds. He couldn't fight nobody that's 6'8" and 280. He's too small. Even though there's already on record of Joe Frazier fighting somebody who was 6'8", who knocked him out too. But it just goes. But they weren't as skilled. Okay, cool. Now we see Usyk, who's a cruiserweight, who's 220, 230, whatever you want to say, 6'3". He's the same size as Muhammad Ali. Literally the same exact size as Muhammad Ali. And what does he do? He goes in and he beats the guy who is 60 pounds heavier. It goes to show, and there's a reason why there's such a big gap in heavyweight, which is skills matter. Yes, the guys that are big punchers, yes, that stuff matters. But skill will trump that 50-pound advantage almost every time. Unless you're freaking Deontay Wilder or George Foreman, where you have ungodly power. Unless you have that, then no, skills matter. And Tyson Fury is not that kind of power puncher.
I mean, yeah, I mean, to your point, I think that Usyk separates himself, though, right? I mean, to your point, he's a different type of fighter, right? I don't think we'll have another Usyk for a while, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, but I mean, overall, look, I think whether you look at Usyk as a cruiserweight, heavyweight, this guy has moved up in what works for him, right? I mean, he can't control his weight as much. He can only control his weight as much as he can. He fought the best that he could at heavyweight. We'll see what's up with a Du Bois fight afterwards, right?
He's even talked about going back to cruiserweight. That's how
Yeah.
small he is.
So I mean, regarding his size and stature and his skill set, I think it just translates. I think we're gonna have a little bit of a heavyweight Canelo now, right? Just a guy that I looks like he's gonna be able to come between cruiserweight and heavyweight comfortably, and fight some of the bigger names at both weight classes. So I'm excited to see what's happens to his career moving forward. Who
I
his
thought he was
next
gonna retire.
I don't know. I think one fight with Du Bois would be nice, right?
Cause my thing is more so like what else are you fighting for? Like I get like I mean one, you're not gonna make no more money to the amount that you made with Fury. Like realistically, so you're gonna have to take a dip in pay now. And then you're gonna have to start retreading. You gotta fight guys you already fought. Which they're already saying you're gonna fight Daniel Dubois again. Okay, cool. You beat him. You finished him. Alright, that was a kind of a tough match at one point, but then you took over. You beat him. Who are you gonna fight next? The winner between Anthony Joshua and freaking Tyson Fury again? No, for the third time? No, you're not I would not take that fight. Why? What do I take absolutely nothing. I earn nothing other than I guess money either one of these guys 3 times. And there's no other heavyweight right now, unless you want to talk about Bacola, that's really like on a radar to a point where it's like, all right, I want to see this guy challenge Usyk. Not really too many guys.
Hey man, you throw in a Devontae Wilder, you never know. But I
Usyk
mean,
would literally kill him now.
maybe right. But for me, I'm excited to see where he goes from here. I would like to see at least one more fight. I think this Tyson Fury dual fight here, these two fights here, really put him and cemented his legacy.
For
I
sure.
Yeah, we got to give it to him, regardless of what we think of Tyson Fury or the heavyweight division. He's done what he could with what he has, right? So, I'm
So
excited.
my question to you then, because obviously we could talk about what's next for both guys. We pretty much know what's next. Usyk is gonna end up fighting Daniel Dubois. That's literally. Or I'm sorry, let me not disrespect the winner between Daniel versus Joseph Parker. So whoever wins, that's who Usyk's gonna fight next. And we know Tyson Fury is gonna fight Anthony Joshua. There's no other fight to make for either guy. There's no other fight that either guy can make that's gonna make nowhere anything close to what money that they're would make fighting anybody else. This is the time to have it. If it's now or never between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, it needs to be made. So yeah, we don't really have to talk about that. So my question to you then, we already know Usyk is at worst the second greatest cruiserweight of all time. That's just not debatable. We know at the very minimum he's second. But now at heavyweight, even with his limited resume, just off of what he did at cruiserweight, but also what he did at heavyweight and his skill level, do you think that he could be placed amongst the top 10 greatest heavyweights ever?
Wow, that's tough there. Um,
And also, I'll add a slight question after that. Do you think it's an easier case to do pound for pound? Not even, I ain't gonna say top 10 because I don't think he's top 10 all time, pound for pound. However, would you think it'd be an easier case to argue him maybe top 30, top 50 all time pound for pound than it is to argue top 10 heavyweight of all time?
I think putting him top 50, um, pound for pound all time is a better argument right now than putting him top 10 heavyweight, right? Um, I feel like he's worth the argument for top 10 heavyweight all time, but he's definitely worth the argument top 50. And a lot of that has to do with not only what he's been able to accomplish in his professional career, but what he's been able to accomplish in his amateur career, which means this guy, since even before he was a pro, has reached the highest of highs. And that, for
Yeah.
me, will always, always stand true as far as what I think about you as an athlete when it comes to pound for pound rankings. I mean, Vasily Lomachenko lost one amateur fight in 365 fights, dual gold medalist, and you wonder why he was fighting for a world title in his second fight, right?
Yeah.
So he's been able to accomplish that. Those things like that elevate you in the pound for pound ranking. So I think for me, that that alone puts him in the top 50, top 10 heavyweights. I'd like to see, to your point, a longer run at heavyweight against different guys, but then again, unfortunately, he's a product of his area where maybe there's not enough guys. But it's not too far-fetched, given his resume, to put him in a top 10 conversation all time, especially if he has one or two more defenses against some top-quality opponents. But better top 50 than top 10.
I guess my biggest thing is it's such a hard thing to debate because, like you said, his resume is so limited. It's like, would you consider him a top 10 greatest ever at heavyweight? No, specifically because of resume. Like I said, when I think of greatness, you have to think of what they've done at that specific weight class. Like, you want to call Ali the greatest, it's because of what he did at that weight class. Anything if he was, or even Evander Holyfield, who was a cruiserweight, who's now a heavyweight. He has a deep history at heavyweight, just like he has a history at cruiserweight. So, if he didn't, though, and let's say he had like 5 fights or 7 fights, and his fights were Mike Tyson, George Foreman, because they fought too, like Spinks or something like that. Like, let's say those were his fights. I wouldn't put him in the top 10 either, but he has a very good, got Riddick Bowe, you got the Mike Tysons, like, he fought the who's, and he has a pretty long, extensive history at heavyweight. That's why you could put him in that top 10. So as far as greatest, nah, you really can't make that argument that he's top 10 greatest of all time. But if you want to talk about skill level, as far as, like, if you will say the top 10 most skillful heavyweights to ever fight, I do think you can put him in there. I do think he's one of the most skillful heavyweights we've seen in some time. You want to go, if you put a top 10 heavyweight list, Usyk can beat somebody on that top 10 list. He might not beat he's not going to beat everybody. But there are people on that top 10 list that for sure Usyk can beat in a fight.
And to that I agree. That's why I say if you argue why he should be in the top 10, I'm not going to completely dismiss it because it's fair. Because to your point, there are definitely people that I'm like, this is a top 10 heavyweight of all time, but Usyk's a mismatch for them, for sure.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's the fact. I mean, whether you want to go with...
Say Tyson Fury's a top 10 heavyweight of all time, really?
Skill-wise, I mean, you very well can make that debate that he is, yes.
And look what happened. So, I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of people...
once again, if you have a top 10, because honestly, we should probably do this for fun one day. We come up with, like, I'll say, we can't say unanimously, because there's always going to be people who want to say, oh, throw Rocky Marciano in there, or like something like that. But I feel like there's a good 10 boxers, like heavyweights. At least we know at least 6 that are going to be in everybody's top 10. Like, Ali, Joe Frazier, I would believe George Foreman, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. I believe those 5. Like, and I obviously there's more that you can name, but I know for a fact those 5 are going to be in your top 10. Then you can trinkle in. Some people are going to have Mike Tyson. Everybody's not going to have Mike Tyson in their top 10 list. Then you also have Larry Holmes, and he should be. You say what?
I said, well, you're not going to have Mike Tyson in the top 10 list.
See, that's what you do. You try to play me. Funny thing is, I did a list a few years back, and I think he was at like.
I just want the fans to hear this. Showtime says that Mike Tyson is the most overrated fighter of all time, but now in the same breath, the most overrated fighter of all time also just happens to be a top 10 heavyweight of all time.
Yes, that's very possible. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna tell you why he's overrated. This is the stuff I'm talking about. You can even look at it. You can even look on Twitter. There was a post that was saying, who is the GOAT? the GOAT of boxing. All right, there was a picture of Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, Roberto Duran, uh, Manny Pacquiao, and then there was a picture of Mike Tyson in there. Guess who was never in there? Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson wasn't on there, but you put Mike Tyson on there. They put Sugar Ray Leonard. He was on there too. I forgot, but they put who is normally a consensus pound for pound. He wasn't on there, but let's put Mike Tyson in there. Then you read. Then you read the comments. People are saying Mike Tyson on the list. They'll say Ali, or it's between Ali and Tyson. Ali and Tyson. No, Tyson in his prime, he was the greatest ever. Brother, I'm telling you that he's barely a top 10 heavyweight. Heavyweight, brother. If you're barely a top 10 heavyweight ever, how in the hell are you even in the contest of greatest pound for pound ever? What sense does that even make?
So are we saying that you're on a witch hunt on Mike Tyson because you read one article that had
What?
over Sugar Ray
No,
Robinson?
because everybody's like this. No, because everyone is like this. If you put on, you can put on a poll right now. I could put on a poll right now, and everybody, you say who's the greatest boxer ever. You know how many people are gonna say Mike Tyson? You know how many people are gonna sit here and say, "Oh, I don't know, Mike Tyson is up
I
there
don't
though."
think I think people are gonna say maybe he's the greatest knockout heavy artist
No,
ever.
they're gonna say he's the greatest ever. He's the greatest I've ever seen. Oh, he in his prime, at his best, nobody could beat him.
I mean, that was kind of
What?
true. That was true until really not.
Oh yeah, until he was 23 and got knocked out by Buster Douglas. You right?
Yeah, Dr.
Yeah.
Douglas. Sorry. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, you're right. That was the best. All right. Yeah, okay. Like they didn't even have Roy Jones on the picture, but they had Mike Tyson, and Roy Jones is literally pound for pound higher than Mike Tyson. But people don't mention that. That's the crazy thing. You won't even hear like because in our generation, Roy Jones is in our generation. Like we saw him fight. Nobody like I ain't gonna say nobody because that's just a lie. But you ask the common folk who was better, Roy Jones or Mike Tyson. Folks are gonna say Mike Tyson.
I think people will do that based off popularity than they would.
It don't matter.
Yeah,
It
but
don't matter if it's based off popularity. It's just a full blown lie.
yeah, but it sounds like you have a vendetta against an article that you read. More so than an actual fact. I'm just saying, to say someone's the most overrated boxer of all time, and then in the
He
same breath,
is.
top 10 heavyweight, just doesn't make sense to me.
You
They're good.
that's you. The reason why is because you equate overrated as he's trash, and that's not the same thing. Saying somebody's overrated does not mean that they're trash. A movie could be overrated and I still enjoy it. Like I can sit here and say Thriller is overrated, but I love it. Granted, I don't think that. Like I never will think that it's one of the greatest albums ever. But I'm saying that I could say that it's overrated, but I still enjoy it. That's still possible. Mike Tyson is an elite fighter. Like I'm not stupid. I'm not saying he sucked. I would never say that. He would knock me out. Probably now. Well, no, not now. I seen that dude fight. Never mind. I could beat Mike Tyson now. But 15 years ago, that my ass. He gonna get me. But nah, he's just overrated, and it's okay to admit that he's an overrated fighter. People gas him up for his highlights and his reputation and his aura. Like Mike Tyson, the baddest man alive. I bite your kids or eat your kids or whatever it is that he said. Like yes, that is what people think about, and they say, oh, he's the greatest ever. They don't bring up everything else.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just a fact.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
But hey, look, chat.
Same thing with Muhammad Ali. He got 8 losses, and people think about
Who?
everything. Muhammad Ali got all these losses, but outside of the ring, people give him the GOAT crown for it. And hey, respect.
It ain't just the loss. Listen, okay. Let me ask you a question. For the people, for all the people he rematched that beat him, what happened?
Dude, 6 losses.
They lost.
Hey, it's fair.
They lost.
Like I said,
That's what
I
happened.
have no
That's what champions do.
I have no problem saying Muhammad Ali is greatest of all time, given what he's done not only in boxing and out. Honestly, that's a fair assessment. I'm just saying it's the same thing you're saying.
But let me ask you a question though. who was beating Mike Tyson that Mike Tyson came back to avenge?
Nobody, but who's beating Rocky Marciano? Who's like
Nobody.
nobody? He's not the
Nobody.
GOAT. That's fair.
Some people actually do think he's like top 10 greatest ever and stuff like that. There is people who do that, but I'm not. I'm not stupid. We've seen Rocky fight.
Yeah.
He might have the greatest chin ever, though. He might have one of the best chins.
Look, there's no denying history, and there's no denying an O. If you have an O, like you can't take that away. He did fight some really, really competitive fighters, and
Didn't he fight Joe Louis?
all-time greats. So
Yeah, he fought Joe Louis. Granted, Joe Louis was 165 years old.
hey, it's a name.
It is. It is. I mean, also Sugar Ray Robinson fought. I forgot his name. He was old too. What was the dude who had like 5 belts? Armstrong, Henry Armstrong. He fought Henry Armstrong, and he beat him. But Henry Armstrong was also super old. But you know, it is, especially back in those days. You know, it ain't like modern medicine now. You could be 35. You could be Usyk's age, 38 years old, and still beat elite fighters that are young. Like,
Gang.
you know, back in those days, you were 33, you were washed, and it was over.
Yeah, for sure.
Like me. But thank you guys for watching this, man. Hey, look, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and comment. Obviously, you know, we went all well off, but I do want to hear what you guys think about. Do you think Usyk belongs in the top 10 all-time heavyweight list? Like, do you? I mean, we have to have the discussions. Then we don't have Usyk for too much longer. We probably have him for maximum 2 more years. So I mean, we have to enjoy while he's here, but we also got to put him up there with the rest of the greats, man. We got to put him up there with the Frasers and the Evander Holyfields and stuff like that. He's earned it. So we want to hear what you guys think and tell us, and then please explain to Josh why Mike Tyson's overrated for the people who actually know. I appreciate that more than anything. But follow us on social media. Follow us on Twitter at Josh Fight Forum. We appreciate all the support, the follows, and the retweets. And the comments too. We always love down the debate. Josh, you got anything for him?
Yeah, thank you all so much for the support all year. Josh gave me a shout out in the beginning, so I'll give him a shout out at the end. Appreciate everything you said, but there is no Showtime's forum without Josh Showtime. So appreciate all that you do and giving me the opportunity. You're the man.
No, I appreciate you, my guy. But yeah, once again, man, be on the lookout as well for 2025. We're gonna have to have some discussions, but we're trying to make this joint bigger and better. We want to get these subscriptions up to well over 1,000, so we can be able to eventually start taking our time to travel to some of these big events. Obviously, we ain't going to Saudi Arabia, but you know, who's to sit here and say we can't go to a card that might be in New York, or we might go to a card that might be in Florida or maybe even Vegas. Like, you know, we can get our followers up, we can start monetizing. You never know, man. The sky's the limit. So that is our goal, man. But we need you guys to help us get there, man. So, as always, man, thank you guys, man. Stay blessed, and we'll talk to y'all.